Lawmakers in Banjul on Monday approved a multi-million-dollar energy loan project for the Gambia. The UN Secretary General has called for the implementation of the recent ceasefire signed between DR Congo's authorities and the M23 rebels. And Ghana has celebrated 66 years of independence in a colorful ceremony presided by the country's president. Well, this and more coming your way on The World Today. Hello, this is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching The World Today News Bulletin coming to you live from our studios in Banjul. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in details. Now, as the National Assembly held its fourth ordinary session in the 2023 legislative year, the Minister for Petroleum and Energy, on behalf of the Finance Minister on Monday, tabled, of course, a motion of financial agreements of the Government of the Gambia and the European Investment Bank and the electricity restoration and modernization project worth over $500 million. Now, of course, the loan includes of course, 800,000 euros and electricity project loan, as well as grant of 24 million and technical assistance of 3 million earmarked for the electrification of 1,000 schools and also 1,000 or hundreds hospitals in the Gambia. Yahya Jammeh has more details of that in this report.
The 24 million euro investment grant is between the government of the Gambia, the Sustainable Energy Service Company SESCO, and the European Investment Bank, which is also on the electricity restoration and modernization project for Component 4 of the Renewable Energy Project. Tabling the motion before the parliamentarians, the country's petroleum minister explains the benefit to the country should the project be fully and effectively implemented.
The effective implementation of this project will contribute significantly to the attainment of the NDP objectives, especially the strategic objective of building our infrastructure and restoring energy services to power our economy, as we strive to attain universal access to electricity for all Gambians 2025. Honorable Speaker, in light of the foregoing, I respectfully submit to this Honorable House the above-mentioned financing agreement for consideration and ratification.
While many parliamentarians lauded the significance of the project, some members, however, gave rigorous scrutiny as they take turns to debate on the issue. Most of the concerns raised by the parliamentarians include project sustainability, employment opportunity for Gambians, implementation process, and others. National Assembly member for Fonyi Councillor Honorable Almami Jiba expressed concern about the proper monitoring of the project.
As for the component of the project that the Honorable Minister has alluded, he initiated that most priorities will be of basic and secondary education. That is about 1,000 schools, and again also 100 hospitals for the Minister of Health. We all know there is a lot of deficit cry in the health sector, where sometimes a lot of lives are lost, either in delivery or in surgery. And I don't know how capacitized will be those projects take place, whether they'll be able to at least take the full control of some of those services.
The parliamentarians for Kiang West and Nyanija also raised concerns about the content and employment opportunities for Gambians and the role of NAWEC in the implementation of the project.
Local content is very, very important as far as such projects are concerned. Employment is a key factor in our country today, as the private sectors are crying for the employment, and the government has an agenda of employing 1,500 people. And how do we make sure that this employment agenda that we have has a portion in this project? Is very, very important.
But I just want to know, as probably the implementing agency for government, that is NAWEC, what is going to be their role in this? Because we don't want to be ratifying here, as my other honorable colleagues have said, we don't want to be ratifying here a loan or a grant in the name of the Gambian people at the end of the day. And it's going to be in a renewable energy form, being supplied to schools and facilities. And then I don't know whether it is going to be like through the routine electricity purchase in this country, like you have your gas power meters in schools or whatever. So I'm just thinking about that. How is this going to be done?
Responding to some of the queries raised by parliamentarians, the Petroleum Minister explains the following.
This project, which is called the Gambia Restoration and Modernization Project, as indicated page 8 of the finance contract, which is the loan, comprises of 4 components, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3 is being implemented currently by NAWEC. It's at the stage of implementation. I think the National Assembly ratified, those 3 components. And some of you may be aware, 3 weeks ago, we laid the foundation stone for the 23, it's not 20, but 23 megawatts solar PV plant grid connected with 8 megawatt hours battery storage facility in Jambul.
The loan that is expected to be paid in 25 years was ratified by the Gambian Parliament with the hope that it will help enhance the country's energy sector and pave the way of ending the long-standing electricity nightmares in the country. The financing agreement is between the government of the Gambia and the European Investment Bank on the Electricity Restoration and Modernization Project, also called the Gambia Renewable Energy Project, and is the finance contract loan for Component 4 of the Renewable Energy Project. Reporting for Eyeafrica News, I am Yahya Jammeh.
Moving on, the UN Secretary General has urged leaders of the M23 rebel groups in the Democratic Republic of Congo to respect a ceasefire agreement effective on Tuesday, March 7, 2023. Now, the ceasefire was announced last Friday in compliance with the decision of the African Union Peace and Security Council on February 17 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And our reporter Moses Mendy tells us more of that in this report.
In a statement released by his spokesperson on Monday, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres welcomed the international and regional peace efforts which took place last week, led by the President of Angola, African Union Champion for Peace and Reconciliation, and the M23 rebel group. The UN diplomat urges the M23 rebel force to respect the ceasefire agreement of Friday to create conditions for its full and effective withdrawal from all occupied areas in the eastern part of DRC. He condemned any form of violence against civilians and renewed calls for all Congolese and foreign armed groups to lay down their weapons and disarm unconditionally. Mr. Guterres also urged all warring parties to ensure immediate and unfettered humanitarian access to the affected population and ensure the safety of civilians. The UN chief further reaffirmed his organization's support of the peace process, with discussions expected to continue in the Angolan and Kenyan capitals through his special representative in the DRC and his special envoy for the Great Lakes region. According to him, the UN stands ready to step up efforts to bring about peace and security in the eastern DRC region. The M23 rebel force has been fighting a major campaign against government troops in recent months. Hundreds of civilians have been killed during years of violence at the hands of armed groups, including women and children. More than 600,000 have reportedly been displaced in eastern North Kivu amid a territorial advance in recent months by the M23 and other groups. According to news reports, the EU announced on Saturday that it will set up a humanitarian aid bridge to deliver aid to eastern DRC. For Eyeafrica News, I am Moses Imende.
Now, elsewhere in the African continent, in a bid to promote access to quality education, a young Tanzanian has made a name for himself by creating an online app that could help propagate quality learning across the African continent. After a long dream, the young Tanzanian co-founded the app with other online learning centers in this African nation with a view to providing more learning opportunities, especially for the young people. Now, despite offering a free education, Tanzania's government is struggling to provide quality education due to the lack of teachers, but this latest initiative could help change the narratives. Now, let's have more details of that in this report.
Adam Duma has long had a dream to make high-quality education affordable for all in Africa. In 2020, he co-founded Silabu, one of a number of skill learning apps in the country. He says through mobile phones, he aims to let 700 million young people in Africa learn academic subjects and new skills online.
High cost of learning is putting a lot of youth across Africa behind, because most of them, they can't attend schools because of the high cost of learning, and some of them even right now they can't access to learn, let's say, digital skills or professional skills.
The app currently has over 10,000 students in Tanzania and neighboring Kenya. Nicodem, one of the platform's 4,000 tutors, says getting to set their own course prices is attracting many of his peers.
As a tutor on the app, I get 85% of what students pay, which is quite a lot for me. The app takes 15%. The 85% that I remain with is enough to run my life and achieve my goals.
Government data in Tanzania shows that personnel shortages in some parts of the country have teachers attend to as many as 180 pupils in a single classroom. At continental level, one United Nations report estimates that to reach education goals by 2030, sub-Saharan Africa will need to recruit 15 million teachers. The Tanzanian government now offers free education up to high school level, but notes that a shortage of teachers is undermining its plans to deliver quality education to millions of students. Those behind the Silabu app say they are helping to bridge the gap by linking the best teacher talent in the country with students. While their operations are currently not under threat, the founders of the app say policy changes are needed for their work to be sustainable.
Now we need to keep on making or to do some amendments on the policies concerning e-learning across Tanzania, so that every innovator who have a program try to solve a certain problem in education can get a chance to do so.
With lack of funding and competing apps getting in the way, Adam says reaching millions of students may still be a long way off. However, he believes that more players entering the market will enable many more marginalized students across Africa to get access to quality education.
That education-related report there is coming from the Tanzanian capital, Dar es Salaam. Now, back to home matters. The young Gambian writer, Ismaila Toure, has published his first ever book titled Ray of Hope. Published last month, the book, of course, inspired by real events, touches on several harsh realities in the Gambian society, ranging from failure, parent demise, to drug addiction, and the largely ignored impact of depression, anxiety, and trauma. Moses Mendy again has more details of that in this report.
Ismaila Toure, in his Ray of Hope, depicted some of the most ruthless realities that are festering in the Gambian society and leading many young people to a dark path. The book depicts depression, anxiety, trauma, and their deadly effect on the young generation, and also touched on drug addiction, a parent's demise, broken marriage, and the downside of social media in our world today. Speaking to Eyeafrica TV, the young Gambian author explains that the book is also built with inspirational and motivational messages that serve as a therapy for some of its readers.
So basically, the book, the effort, I had to stay focused. So that means like I had to stay away from like relationships. So to have that focus. So basically, it was 2 months I had to work on the idea in my mind before having to just sit and write. So for 2 months I go to the beach. Every day I go to the beach just to meditate, because the storyline it is that of an orphan. So so many youths lose their parents, and then that makes them to get into drugs.
The 124-page book is the outcome of determination and strong passion to shed light on some key issues demanding the country's young generation. Thus, Ismaila Toure shares what inspired him to write the book.
So there's no safe space anymore. So it is very, very sad, and it is depressing. It is really depressing. Like being a writer and like writing this book, it was very depressing. But then I kept on going. Yeah, I stood my ground, because this is something I really, really, want, to, take out there. So the writing journey was basically not easy, but yeah, I alhamdulillah, done, and yeah, I've published it. Yeah.
Writing such an inspirational book, according to Ismaila, requires strong commitment and mental preparation, while outlining the struggle he faced during his journey of writing.
I finished the first draft. I was thinking, I am a very, very young person, and I wrote a book. So I was definitely thinking, people will come in, to help. But then when I sat to myself, nobody will really, really help you if you don't help yourself. So that mindset, it took me to finish writing this book. Yeah, there was a time I wanted to give up, because after having like a laptop, and then the laptop stopped working. So that was so depressing. I live at New Yundum, so I will leave from Yundum to MDI just for my friend Yusufa to lend me his laptop for me to use and write. So the journey, it's not easy.
The successful completion of the book seeking to inspire and motivate the young generation was only possible after the young scribbler cut off relationships and sold his phone to get a laptop in order to continue piecing the book. Despite the breakthrough, Ismaila is however requesting for more support and suggested that perhaps those with success stories should share for the purpose of inspiring youths in the country. A Ray of Hope was drafted in 3 months, while the editing spanned up to a year, and so far only more than 100 copies have been sold, but the young author is aiming to sell thousands of copies. Ismaila Toure, having ventured into writing in 2019, is hoping to pave way for himself through witty pieces that can impact readers as well as raise awareness of society. For Eyeafrica News, I am Moses Imende.
And you are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Eyeafrica TV, coming to you live from our studios in Banjul. And from that report there, we now take a break and come back shortly.
TAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called TAF Twins. The TAF Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. TAF Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters, with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
Welcome back. This is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. And once again, many thanks for joining us. Let's now look at the rest of the stories. Now, thousands of Ghanaians, led by President Nana Akufo-Addo, Monday, March 6, 2023, celebrated the country's 66 years of Independence Day. Now, Ghana became the first country in the sub-Saharan African region to attain independence from the British colonial masters. Esteemed dignitaries from other countries also attended the event to commemorate the occasion held at the Aduku Sports Stadium in the country's Volta region. Let's have more details of that in this report by Moses Mende.
Ghanaians turned out in large numbers, flaunting their national colors as they celebrate their country's 66th independence anniversary. The West African nation gained independence on March 6, 1957, making it the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence. This historic turning point inspired a fight for self-governance across the region. Ghana's president at the time, and also a soft-spoken Pan-Africanist, Kwame Nkrumah, described Ghana's breakout as a gateway to freedom through which other African countries must work. Current President Akufo-Addo in his speech said the country's independence came with the weighty obligation to serve permanently as a barometer of the continent's progress, adding that 66 years down the line, Ghana have worked hard to live up to that responsibility, although it has failed to fully realize the dreams and aspirations of those who fought for its independence. He called on Ghanaians to be united and imbue in them the constant desire to seek for progress, prosperity, and development of Ghana, no matter the circumstances. Despite the achievements of March 6, 1957, Ghana's post-independence was soon marred by a spate of military coups, yet it emerged as one of Africa's most respected democracies and strong economies. According to media reports, thousands of people from across the country, including members of the diplomatic corps, the clergy, traditional rulers, and other dignitaries, including President of Guinea-Bissau, Sissoko Embalo, were present at the celebration. It was the first time that the Volta region hosted the country's independence celebration. For Eyeafrica News, I am Moses Mende.
And on to our final story next, because the buy now and pay later business system is gaining momentum in Uganda, which is believed to be helping some business owners expand their business activities. Now, the business initiative allowed customers to access online credit, which can be paid in installment at their convenient time. Here's more details of that in this report.
Stanley Sempija deals in Apple accessories in downtown Kampala. He signed up as a merchant into the Buy Now, Pay Later business module to help him widen his client base. The e-commerce platform offers him credit for his items. Customers can then access the products online while paying up in installments.
I realize there's a very big portion of people who don't have access to cash or access to big amounts of cash to spend at once. Because the products I sell are premium products, they cost above $1 million plus. So most people wouldn't want to spend that cash all at once, but they would be fine with spending it in a period of, let's say, 6 or 12 months.
Individuals and businesses can also sign up on the platform and access credit to purchase items which are payable in installments. The flexible payment plans can go for a period of up to 12 months.
As a merchant, it increases my sales, and it also increases the number of products that customers are able to take and the amount of money I can get from every customer.
In Uganda, the Buy Now, Pay Later concept is relatively new and it's beginning to pick up. Since the business module started about 3 years ago, the Pay Later platforms have grown to about 5 in number, and there is potential for more uptake from small businesses.
You need to have more purchasing power, right, to be able to afford products and live a decent life. You need to get to your children to some of the best schools, right? So ideally, that is where we're coming from.
The global Buy Now, Pay Later market is projected to grow from about $23 billion in 2022 to more than $90 billion in 2029. The recent economic meltdown due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict and trade disruptions caused by COVID-19 increased e-commerce penetration. It's a sought-after purchase method for electronic and furniture shops, but other traditional shops are also taking it up. The buy now, pay later system is now a more popular choice for the growing middle class, allowing them access to high-class value goods at flexible payment terms. Though there is a small interest charged on the goods, buyers normally don't feel it. But traders are worried the module may be too risky as borrowers could default.
Payment becomes a problem, and because people get these products from the first installment, it's not like a lay-by where you pick it up at the end of the installments. So, I think it's just human nature, diminishing returns. If you hold a phone after 3-4 months, the excitement has died out, or a TV. So you start thinking, why am I paying for it?
E-commerce platforms are now taking advantage of the growing online shopping to tap into the installment payment module. Small-scale traders like Isaac hope more people can tap into the platform to grow their enterprises.
Well, buy now and pay later model gains momentum in Uganda, and of course from that business-related report there from the Ugandan capital Kampala, we now eventually bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit our website on Eyeafrica.tv. But for now, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and do have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.